On August 13, 2018, the sun rose over Frederick, Colorado like any other day. Birds chirped, neighbors left for work, and the quiet suburban streets looked peaceful. No one knew that inside one house, a crime had already taken place that would later haunt millions of people around the world. Chris Watts was a 33-year-old oil field worker. To everyone outside, he looked like the perfect family man. He had a beautiful wife, Shanann Watts, who was 15 weeks pregnant, and two young daughters, Bella and Celeste. Their life looked happy on social media. Smiling photos, family videos, and loving captions filled Shanann's Facebook page. But behind the smiles, things were falling apart. That night, Shanann returned home from a business trip around 2 a.m. She was tired, pregnant, and emotionally stressed. She had been worried about her marriage for weeks. Chris had grown distant. He barely touched her, barely talked to her. What Shanann didn't know was that Chris was having an affair with a co-worker and had already decided that his family was a problem standing in the way of his new life. According to Chris's later confession, an argument happened that night. Words were exchanged. Shanann talked about divorce, about custody, about their unborn baby. Then, in a moment that shocked even investigators, Chris climbed on top of her and strangled her in their bedroom. Shanann fought for her life. She begged him to stop. She begged for the baby growing inside her. Chris later admitted that he never stopped. He watched the life leave her body. After killing his pregnant wife, Chris did something even more chilling. He went to his daughter's rooms. Bella and Celeste were still alive. But instead of calling for help, instead of panicking, Chris wrapped Shanann's body in a sheet and dragged it down the stairs. He placed her in the back of his truck, like cargo. Then he carried his daughters out of the house and put them into the truck as well. The drive to the oil field took nearly an hour. During that drive, the children sat in the back seat, confused and scared. One of the girls asked a question that would later break the hearts of everyone who heard it. "Daddy, is Mummy okay?" Chris didn't answer. At the oil site, he killed his daughters one by one. He smothered them and then pushed their small bodies into separate oil tanks. Finally, he buried Shanann in a shallow grave nearby, face down, still wearing the same clothes she had worn when she came home that night. Then Chris went to work like nothing had happened. Later that morning, Shanann's close friend noticed something was wrong. Shanann wasn't answering calls or texts. She missed a doctor's appointment, something she never did. The friend drove to the Watts home and called the police. When officers arrived, Chris acted calm, too calm. He smiled at strange moments. He talked quickly. He showed no real fear or panic. Inside the house, everything was still there. Shanann's purse, phone, car, and shoes had not moved. It didn't look like someone who left voluntarily. Chris even gave a television interview, standing on his porch, asking his wife and daughters to come back home. But his eyes showed no emotion. Viewers around the world immediately felt something was wrong. Police reviewed footage from a neighbor's security camera. It showed Chris backing his truck into the driveway early that morning. It showed him loading something heavy, but it never showed Shanann or the girls leaving alive. When questioned again, Chris's stories began to fall apart. He failed a lie detector test. Under pressure, he finally confessed, first blaming Shanann, then eventually admitting everything himself. The truth shocked the world. Chris Watts pleaded guilty to avoid the death penalty. He was sentenced to multiple life sentences without the possibility of parole. Today, this case remains one of the most searched true crime stories online. Not because of mystery, but because of how terrifyingly normal the killer appeared. It proved one terrifying truth. Sometimes the most dangerous criminals are not strangers in the dark. They are husbands. They are fathers. They are the people we trust the most. And sometimes evil lives behind the happiest smiles.